Okay, good evening, everyone. I did a video previously concerning melanin. That was melanin part one, which is what you see on your screen here. And I've already queued up a specific point that I wanted to have repeated, or just to reiterate in your mind. So I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to be playing clips from another video from What Morning Show, which I'll get to in a minute. So if you come to this video and you come down into the description box, you'll see here. So I'm playing this clip, and I'll play other clips in this video from this link here. Okay, so I have Zoe Williams' channel, his YouTube channel, Jeff Brown's channel, Bobby Glanton Smith's channel, Kevin Berenger, Dr. Phil Valentine, and there was another young lady named Veronica Conway. If she has a YouTube channel, I will try and find that, but I have not been able to locate a channel for her. I know she has a website, veronicaconway.com, so maybe I'll put that in the description box. But I also had links here of other clips. So to reiterate last time, because this is going to be part two, melanin has a broad absorption spectrum. It can absorb thousands of times more electromagnetic radiation, or EMR, in the form of photons, and it can do that more efficiently than chlorophyll. And as we know, you can't consume chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the main component of plants necessary for them to convert sunlight into energy. Melanin also exists in many tissues besides the skin. So that's one thing I want people to recognize. Melanin is not only in your skin, it's found in your organs as well. It's found in your eyes. And if you go and watch this video, you'll see the scientists discussing how a fetus that's developing very early, I believe 35 days or so, has melanin. Their eyes are pure melanin. And the streak that occurs on an embryo is pure melanin as well. They also have thought that melanin is a master molecule that's necessary for steering biological processes in the body. So most biological processes are thought to be steered by the presence of melanin, the function of melanin. So I'm going to go to a link here. This is where the clips came from. And I already have written down where I want what clips I want to play from this. So I'll just advance to that timestamp, and you'll see that when I go and I stop. And I'll try to remember to put the timestamps. Let me write that down. Put the timestamps in the description box, so you'll be able to find it much easier. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm just going to make it bigger so it's easier to see. Let's see here. I'm also going to try to increase the quality. There we go. This was recorded 2015, so as you can see from the top here. And the quality of the camera, I don't know what kind of camera they were using, but I'm glad he's at Dash now, where the quality of the camera is very crisp, very good. But I want you to focus more on what they're saying and not how the images look. So let me see. Let me increase the volume, and I'm going to play until from about 34:14 to 36:08. So there we go.
With this fullerene graphite, the helicoid system, it assembles molecules.
Okay, let me back this up a little bit. I'm going to play from, let's play from 3333. I just like the number. So 3333, because Dr. Phil Valentine comes on. I don't want to miss what he's saying. So let me start from here. There we go.
What distinguishes us from we have it, they want it. Why do they want it so bad?
Okay, you break it up.
No, we're not breaking it up.
What is it that distinguishes it?
Yeah, why? I'm saying, why do they want it?
This is how beautiful. This is how beautiful the brothers there were actually giving me all these inspirations as I was listening to them speak. First of all, it links ions and organic molecules. It forms charge transfer complexes. It transforming and storing gas, which is fullerene, graphite, and helicoid systems. It assembles molecules, forms electromagnetic fields, giving rise to communication systems between tissue and tissue, and between tissue and the central nervous system. It's a matrix, chemical evolution, sound electricity conductivity. It is a super as well as a semiconductor. It is an intelligence, and everything else is that we speak about melanin is basically a symptom or an effect. But what people miss is the fact that melanin is beyond all of the things that it represents. It is at its core an intelligence. It is the intelligence of the hydrogen molecule as it expresses itself in consciousness. And where I am as a metaphysician is that I don't look at the veneer of reality, because that is the illusion. What I do is to say that if everything has an effect, there is a cause. And the only cause that would be able to duplicate itself, and the brother did a beautiful thing when he was talking about the connection between spawn and all the rest of it, and dealing with black and so forth. When you're dealing with something that only shows itself as you begin to use your mind, and it begins to shift and do things as necessary, as mind in its microcosmic form, in the form of human beings, as mind is doing things, it is necessary for the conductivity of divine energy. So when we're talking about melanin, brothers and sisters, melanin is beyond all of the effects that you now give to it, because it can be anything that the mind conceives. And the beauty of melanin, as seeing it as an intelligence, is to understand that it can become anything necessary for the development of human consciousness.
Wow. Listen.
Okay, so if you heard all of that, and of course, you know, you can play, I know Gwen B talked about this, and I learned it too, because I like to listen to instrumentals. So you can play the speed back. You know, it's already set at normal, but you can decrease the speed, increase the speed, and that helps you to, you know, really capture what Dr. Phil Valentine is saying. I put his channel or a few videos from him in the description box of this video and the one you're watching right now, because the previous one and the one you're watching right now, because he has a lot of knowledge and he brings a lot of insight and wisdom to the conversation. That's really I appreciate that, and I hope you feel the same. So I'm going to go on to the next. Let's see, the next clip, which is 3819. They have a lot of commercials here. So I'm going to go to 38, try to get to 19. Let's see. 19. Okay, 22. Maybe it's not doing it. Let me see. Okay, so this is good, because Zoe Williams has a book called The Relationship Dismount, and I'm gonna see if I can play part of that. Money B.
chapter 10, we talk about the difference between being embittered, embattled, or embittered. So if you're embittered, of course you're holding on to things. You're resentful, you're resistant. If you're embattled, you're fighting. No, I don't accept that. I don't want that. But if you're open and you're allowing the process to unfold and flower within you and beyond you, you have an opportunity to become embittered. Chapter 10 goes into detail on how to stop being embittered, how to stop looking for the win by being embattled, and how to evolve and expand to a space of embitterment. I mean, it's an incredible work, man, and I'm excited about it.
Okay, so you can get his book, of course, on his website, iamzowilliams.com. You can also get it, this is July 1st, 2015. You can also get it on Amazon. So I have the Amazon, the Kindle version, very good book. It has a lot of, just quickly, I'm just going to say it has a lot of good work studies for you to do by yourself or with your partner, your significant other. And I suggest everyone get this, especially us, especially like as Ajali says, Black us, we need a book like this. So I support him in his endeavors. And I just wanted to put that's a little commercial for Zoe Williams. And let me get to let's see, the next section. Okay, yeah, the next section is coming up.
Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV. Your research that you think that America may have had some European visitors sort of before 1492. It sort of dates back earlier than that. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, this is work that uses a very, very good indicator of ancestry, which is a piece of DNA inherited down the maternal line. Now, when Native American ancestry was worked on, I have to say, usually without permission from the people involved, which was scandalous. But when that was looked at, there were four groups of people four groups of ancestors that made up the majority of Native Americans. However, in recent years, a fifth group has been identified, particularly in tribes that live close to the Great Lakes, the Ojibwe tribe in particular. And the matches with the four main groups of Native Americans are from Siberia and East Asia. But in the Great Lakes, this particular cluster of DNA comes not from Asia, there's no trace of it there, but from Europe. So I think around about the same time, something about 10,000 years ago, there was a small group of people that came from Europe, directly over the Atlantic, which was partly frozen then. So,
okay, these are theories. I just want to make sure I let people know that these are theories. You also have to look at what platform he is discussing this so-called research on. He's on, I think, MSNBC, and they got excited when they found out that they were part Neanderthal, because then that means they're not mixed with humans. I'm like, who would want to admit that they're mixed, that they have ancestry that's Neanderthal? But yeah, we'll get into some of this in a minute, because Dr. Kaba Kameni, who is featured on Hidden Colors, also speaks of that in a minute as well.
Could have got round at the edge of the ice, and I think that's the most likely explanation for what we see in a small proportion of Native Americans.
This African being.
So this is Kaba Kameni, and I'm going to let him speak. I'm going to let it go until about 53 minutes, and then that'll be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me bring it back a little bit. And but yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Click that red subscribe button. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers. by, I don't know, the end of the summer, I guess. I just have that as a goal of mine, maybe by August, to have 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Guys, keep pushing, keep sharing the videos, keep sharing my channel. If you subscribe today, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post new videos or go live. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. Just keep watching, keep hitting that thumbs up button, keep sharing the videos, and I'll talk to you soon.
Came from Europe, directly over the Atlantic, which was partly frozen then, so could have got round at the edge of the ice. And I think that's the most likely explanation for what we see in a small proportion of Native Americans.
This African, being born in this area, goes in the caves and puts on clothes because it's cold, just like we do right now. When it's summertime, in about 3 months, we're going to be out here and we're going to have tank top and shorts and everything else. Right now, we got all this on. The African finds himself in this cold region. It's extremely cold. In your skin, in your epidermis, you have 5 layers. You have what's called the stratum corneum, the stratum luciderm, the stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and the stratum basale. In the bottom 2 layers, the basale and the spinosum, you have a biochemical known as 7-dehydrocholesterol. It sits in that epidermis, those parts of your epidermis. When the sun hits your skin, the light and heat energy is absorbed by this dark matter. It converts inactive D1, D2 into active D3. That is what is then shot throughout the entire organic body, and that's what begins to absorb calcium to bring the necessary things into existence for this human body to live. This dark complexion in the warm sunlight is natural suntan lotion, but in the cold, it stops the sunlight from getting in. So this human organism, black of skin, dark brown of skin, begins to depigment itself. Dr. Richard King says it takes 16 generations for a black person to become pale.
Wow, 16. You know why this is important? Because so much of our self-worth and self-esteem is tied to our skin. When did that happen? When did the self-worth and self-esteem levels drop in association to our skin color? When did that happen?
After the boat ride.
When was racism created?
After the boat.
When did the white man become the end all, the be all in beauty?
One more time, Joe.
After the boat ride. Shout out to our engineer who is white. You don't never get no good news at work, huh? Monday sucks for you. Oh, man, you get reminded of how shitty your ancestors were. Here we go. Monday ain't shit day. It's Monday.
That's not every show.
It passes very quickly.
Oh, you're like, God, I know you hate Mondays. You're like, God damn, I hate Mondays. Goddamn, these educated damn Negroes, they ain't like none of the dudes from white people around me talk about. Well,
I'm going to say,
go ahead, Cass.
Even way before that. You know, we're the first people on the planet, melanated people. What the guy was saying about how they hold a research conference every 3 years, this book right here, this is called the Great Melanin Book of Research. And this is the book or the research of the conference that they do every 2 years. And I made it into a book. And so in there, it talks about how the lack of melanin is a genetic mutation. So if you go back to that, back to Africa, you had to have some of those genetic mutations in Africa. And so some of us migrated out of Africa because of exploration, but also some had to migrate because they were born with melanin, and that sun on their ass was a little hot. So they had to bounce up out of Africa, move to the cooler climates. Then they gradually grew long hair because your central nervous system is where, on the back of your neck, is where everything, is where all your signals come from. So if it's cool, that actually can shut down your nervous system. So the hair grew along the neck, keep it warm, so that the signals can move along the neck. So, you know, if we were mutated, or if we had mutations back in Africa, think about here in the book, they also say that mutations happen all the time in nature, but the reason that you don't see them all the time is because nature will cancel it out. So you will get, like, if you get an albino lion, most of the other lions will kill it, and so it doesn't have a chance to constantly just keep growing. So, but for us,
get your defective ass out of here.
right? But as humans, we're not. If one of us is born, with a genetic defect, we're not just going to kill it. So, but the ridicule
special.
But yeah, really.
We're a short bro.
But you had to figure some ridicule had to come because of that, because they're still doing that today. There's albinos born in Africa today that literally get dogged, they get downed and talked about constantly. So they out.
Or some African tribes see them as magic and be cutting off limbs.
Yep.
This is a real problem in Africa right now.
I'm going to bet on the horses this weekend. I need a pinky finger from an albino.
So,
luck. If you're going to bring me some luck, where is that blind albino motherfucker? Where is he? Bring him to me. I need a pinky toe.
My lucky white pinky.
Listen, man. Let's bring Dr. Phil in, because I think it's important that we really get down to the nitty gritty of it. I'm gonna ask a tough question, and I want to start with Dr. Phil. Phil time here. Let me ask this question. Does melanin make black people gods? And those who lack it, are they the polar opposite of God?
Let me ask you a question. Does Superman still remain Superman when he's sitting around kryptonite?
Wow. Bam!
Classic.
Yeah, we already have the suit. We done lost the mind because we've been sitting in kryptonite. We call it the wilderness of North America and the so-called United Snakes and under white supremacy. That's been our kryptonite. It has gotten to the mind. Remember, I told you that melanin is a consciousness. It is an intelligence. And when we lost our mind, and you asked me where we can find it if we lose it. Now, Brother Enki asked me, where do we go? Where does the mind go when we lose it? It stays there, but it becomes innocuous. It becomes completely invisible to us. It becomes a tangible, phantom. We have to do what the Asarian drama has been constantly resonating to us. We have to resurrect the dead. And the dead is those things that are in us, those things that are remaining dormant within us. There are cells and there are atrophied organs within us that can activate us back into the realms of the gods. But because we have degenerated and because our bodies are no longer operating the way in mindset that kept us at the levels of God, we are no longer gods. In fact, we are gods in stasis. We are gods walking around in a husk.
Wow.
That.
Dr. Phil, I'm going to tell you something, man. If you make your way to Los Angeles and you do not make your way to this show, it's going to be a problem. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to be at the goddamn airport. Like, what happened? Where Dr. Phil at? No, this is real talk. This is, hey, because you first off, you're going to have a lot of people that say, yo, this is a type of racism. This is a type of black racism when we talk about the significance and the importance of melanin. Now, if this is a type of black race, because what I know about race, it's a game, like money is a game, like education is a game, and wherever there's a game, right, there's some rules that have to be, followed. So when it comes to race, I know you motherfuckers have took a piece of the truth, flipped it inside out, and created new rules to exist within that game. The moment you seek to define the walls and the parameters of the game to say, no, I want to play outside this. Hey, outside the game is off limits, okay? You can only play inside here.
Like Enter the Dragon.
Right.
You may not leave. It is not allowed.
It is not permitted. Right? So that's my thing. Like, they don't want us outside of the game. They want us to look at each other through the parameter by which they create, the filter they create. And this is how we judge each other, right? But when you get outside the game, you recognize, oh, why? You have questions now. Why are you studying melanin? That's the first question. What do you want to know about melanin? Why is melanin important to you? If we ain't shit according to the rules of the game, if you go to India, the caste system is based on color. Varna, Sanskrit word, Varna for color. The darkest people on the bottom. If you spent the whole time writing the rules to the game saying dark and black is evil and ugly and discardable, why are you over there studying it?
Black cat
outside the box of the game you told me was right.
Well, you have to understand the cancer has to study the body once it's infected it so that it knows how to live. And what are fellows? You have
according to the rules of the game, if you go to India, the caste system is based on color. Varna, Sanskrit word, Varna for color. The darkest people on the bottom. If you spent the whole time writing the rules to the game saying dark and black is evil and ugly and discardable, why are you over there studying it?
Black cat
outside the box of the game you told me was right.
Well, you have to understand the cancer has to study the body once it's infected so that it knows how to live. And what are fellows? You have to understand you have to create the environment for a cancer to exist. And the cancer continues to emanate energies to change the environment so it can live.
Damn it, Bobby, you got something for me?
I'm sitting here listening to this conversation intently because race is still such a factor in our everyday lives. And at the same time, it's important that we talk about personal empowerment because it's not so much how others define us as it is how we define ourselves. And the rest of my life is devoted to correcting that phobia. That somebody else is going to dictate to me what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to be thankful for. I've been back on the tennis court and the basketball court, and I've got a little darker. And it's a blessing to know that the sun is not my enemy. So I ain't got no problem with it.
Hey, we cool with it, right?
I'm about 2 shades in.
Isn't it beautiful?
I'm digging it, man.
I try to explain that to black folks all the time, running their asses up in CVS, looking for SPF. I told my sunscreen. I go, no, I don't need sunscreen for the same reason that they don't discuss the no-look pass. I have the unteachable. Yeah, I'm okay. Let me say that for the win.
Okay, y'all. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll come with part 3. And maybe we can have a discussion about all the sections that I do on a hangout one day. I hope that will happen. I really do. I appreciate your attention. Have a great night.